You call me Mr. Perfect.
Who are these people?
Tell you something, brother!
Who are these people?
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Don't be rude.
Who are these people?
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude. Well,
Welcome,
let me tell you something, brother. Okay, sorry.
welcome to this really late episode of
Yeah, sorry we're late.
I'm your host, Angel Rivera, along with Miss Richie Perfect. I know we were out last week, but we're back, ready to go. Apparently, not really. I mean, I've been just trying to get myself ready. Internet didn't work, and then that little microphone arm I had yesterday just completely fell apart after one use. It's the reason why it only cost $10 on Amazon, but I figured I would try it, and it was nice for when it lasted. It lasted once.
Once. That's a 1-star review, and be lucky you got that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that that thing lasted once. Like literally just once. I've never imagined it would be that. I knew it probably wouldn't last long because of how cheap it was, but I figured it would last a few uses at least.
Yeah, a few uses. I can't say anything. My boom arm was expensive. It was like
Yeah,
$100.
there you go. You get what you pay for, right?
That's
I
right.
tried paying $10, and the problem is that arm was designed for like a regular mic, like one of those things you hold.
Mhm.
Instead of this is a $60 mic here, and it probably is making a lot of noise right now. But it's a $60 mic. It picks up everything. Remember that one week when it was raining and
Yeah,
it
I
picked
heard
up everything?
boom. I'm
Yeah,
like, "Oh my gosh, was that something outside your window?" I
yeah,
thought
it
it was
was.
raining here. It was so loud.
Yeah, so this is a good mic. It. I should have probably found one that was specifically designed for this mic, but I thought those are like $30-$40 at least. So I was like, this should be fine. It worked once, as you saw yesterday. I was able to move it around and stuff. I saw on the inside of where you put the actual. There's a clamp. I know you know. There's a clamp you clamp to your table or whatever, and
Yeah.
the inside of that like clamp was already like had like a hole in it. It
Oh
like it
no.
inside was kind of like it was already popping out on the inside. So when I tried sticking the arm in, it it was really loose. Like you couldn't even move it without it completely falling apart. Yeah, so no, forget that. I'm probably gonna throw it out when I'm done here because I'm not. I was angry. I sweated a lot. That's why I have my sweat rag here. It's not even hot. I sweated. That's how angry it was. The internet's down. I couldn't get it up. Then the arm wouldn't work. I put it together. I'm not happy. I'm starting to show off in a really upset way. But we just get let's start because if not, I'm just gonna keep ranting and raving about how wrong everything went. I'll find another
That's okay.
mom.
I ended up putting our end tables together. My dad bought us some more end tables, and I couldn't fit the. This is funny, but the I could get the screws in the one side, couldn't get it in the other side, and I'm just like, why won't you fit? And I'm like a monkey doing a math problem, trying to figure out how these screws go into these end tables. Oh,
Yeah,
finally I got them working, and then my hands start hurting because I'm like screwing in the screws. All right, everybody's mind out of the gutter. Okay, I'm trying to be mechanical here because I work on computers, so I have to unscrew and screw in. Mine's out of gutters all day
yeah, it's
long. So, but I think the first thing we should talk about is Kevin Sullivan.
yeah. We,
In fact, I had to tell um, Kit, Kit Cabello, I had to tell him that he had passed away because I had to look it up myself. I saw it on
yeah,
X and I was like, no, this can't be real. So I looked it up and I was like, holy crap. But I know that he was in ill health for a very long time. So,
yeah.
unfortunately, Kevin Sullivan has passed away at the age of 74. Um, Kate Cabello was talking about this that he had a special little thing for Kevin. So, um, it's the Hogan thing and him in the Dungeon of Doom. See, I caught in '96 when I was uh 10. Um, I caught the tail end of him, like
Mm-hmm.
when he was just about to go back to booking, and he wanted
Yeah,
on TV forever. Um, I um pretty much saw the angle between him and Chris Benoit, so I got to see the feud. Um, and it
yeah,
was really the feud where he booked his own wife to be with Benoit, and then ended up being Benoit's wife. That's a oopsie.
yeah. He
But apparently
booked
they had
himself.
a
He
name
worked himself into a shoot. That's an
right,
old wrestling term. Like,
but like basically they had been having problems. Kevin Sullivan and Nancy had been having problems. Apparently she
yeah.
was abusive towards him. So yeah.
I don't know about that, but
That's what Jim Cornette said. I was listening to Jim Cornette's experience. They just came out with the experience. And he was saying how like they were having problems and apparently there was domestic violence on her part. So
oh wow, I didn't know about that, and I didn't get a chance to listen to Jim Cornette because I know he talked about Kevin Sullivan passing, so just never got
yeah.
around to it and
Well,
watching
and we
him.
were off, and unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, I had a family function last week.
Yeah,
That's why we're off. But yeah, I was just listening to him today at work, and he was talking about how apparently Nancy was abusive. But they did talk about the Chris Benoit thing briefly. Like,
yeah,
they just kind of touched on it and then went away. But I didn't know that fans were blaming him. Now, I had heard rumors that Kevin Sullivan had something to do with the whole Benoit situation, which
the
is weird.
crickets.
These
Come
crickets are
on.
delicious. Oh, because I always say I'm the always the one to say, that Agenda 2030 is
Yeah.
going to be implemented by Trump or Kamala. It doesn't matter who wins the White House. You're going to own nothing, be happy, and eat sea
Uh-huh.
bugs. So
Yep.
that's a joke to me. Thank you, Snow. I'll get you later. Okay. Anyway, going back to Kevin Sullivan. Apparently, I had heard rumors that he had something to do with it. I didn't know if fans were like literally saying his name was Mud. I guess I was a little naive there. I didn't know that they literally were blaming him for the Chris Benoit thing.
Yeah. Because I've heard this conspiracy. The reason why they think that is because Kevin Sullivan had that Satan worshiping gimmick for years, and
Right.
he
Right.
people believed that he actually does. So they believed this gimmick, so that's why he did this obviously and framed Chris Benoit for what he did allegedly. Just I didn't. I
Allegedly,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Hmm.
I also thought like maybe it was like payback for Benoit taking Nancy.
Yeah, that's another reason why people think that happened. Hmm.
Oopsie. You kind of well, I mean, Kevin Sullivan. I mean, think about this. Would you book your own wife to work with someone and then, you know, oopsie daisy, they end up being their wife?
I think this has happened before with Chris Adams and his wife with Steve Austin.
Oh no.
Yeah, and not Chris Adams wasn't the booker, but this was in USWA when Steve Austin's first starting out, and one way or another, Chris Adams' wife ended up managing Steve Austin, a young Steve Austin, and they ended up hooking up, and they got married, and Steve Austin betrayed his trainer, blah blah blah. That was a shoot, and they had two children together, two daughters, and
Yes.
so this has
Yeah, and
happened
that
before.
she's the one who helped him come up with the Stone Cold gimmick because
Mm-hmm.
she was from
Yep.
England and she would always
Janine.
say,
I think Janine's
yeah,
her name.
Janine.
I think.
She would
Yeah.
always say, drink your iced tea before it gets stone cold, or
That
drink your
was in.
tea.
Yeah, that was a UK. That was a UK phrase. I mean, they use Stone Cold a lot. Like it's Stone Cold. Like because I watch a lot of Gordon Ramsay, so I think he's British too. So
Oh.
yeah, that's why I know it's an old British. The way it said it, we say here in the U.S. it's cold. It's cold. I mean, heat it up or something. Over there, it's like it's stone cold.
Yeah,
That's why she said that.
drink your tea before it gets stone cold. He's like, brilliant. Stone Cold Steve
That's it.
Austin.
I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's how it took off and blah blah blah. But yeah, this has happened before in wrestling history where guys end up managing the one guy's wife ends up managing some other guy, and then they're traveling together and stuff happens and la la la. But this is the only time I know of when a booker booked his own wife with somebody else and they ended up getting married. So
I was gonna
usually
say,
some other
because
booker that does it.
right, no, because it happened with Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's
Yeah,
wife is now Jeff Jarrett's wife. I
yeah,
don't know if they have any kids together, but I know that her and Angle had
uh,
some kids.
yeah. I don't know. I don't think Jeff and Karen have kids, but maybe I'm
Not
wrong.
together, but they
Yeah,
definitely have
yeah.
kids from previous marriages.
This is Lexus King. He puts, I respect you,
Oh,
Booker man. All right, this is Brian Pillman Jr. And he's referring to I think it was at a Clash, wasn't it? Clash of Champions. He had a match with Kevin Sullivan, and Brian Pillman said, I respect you, Booker man, and walked out of the match.
oh, geez.
This is what he's referencing. This is Brian Pillman Jr.
Oh, well, I mean, kudos to Brian Pillman Jr. for doing that.
Eh. So you didn't know that story? It was at a Clash of Champions in WCW, like
Mm-mm.
that
Mm-mm.
early mid '90s. This is before Hogan came in, I think.
That's
And you had
the angle that Kit Cabela did.
Yeah, he's like they started the match, and I'm not sure whether they had a little bit of the match or they had none of the match, but they circled each other for a bit, and then Brian Pillman said, "I respect you, Booker man," and bounced like because he was trying to do his loose cannon gimmick. He's starting that at the time.
Oh, okay. I was like, why didn't they wrestle?
Because he was trying to be unpredictable. That was his gimmick, that he wouldn't listen
Well,
to anybody.
that nobody expected that.
So he was trying
No
to
one
be the
expected
loose.
him to hightail it.
He was trying to be the loose cannon Brian Pillman, and that's when he would just walk out. He would just do stuff like that. Another time when Bobby Heenan first came in WCW, he
Well,
grabbed
right,
Bobby
right. The
Heenan
whole
by the
yeah,
neck.
the neck. And he's like, what the
The fuck, get the fuck out, and he was like, and Bobby left. I mean, he left. And I'm not sure if Brian Pillman knew about his neck or he just didn't give a shit. He was trying to be, his loose cannon
something
gimmick.
like
Or
that. Yeah, I heard about that. And um
the
Bobby
fuck are
was
you
like
doing?
I don't know what the heck went on there. Like I watched the interview with him. My nose is itchy. Somebody's talking about me. Um man, stop that. Um someone was he was talking about that in an interview, I believe. And now I sound scratchy. Do I sound scratchy a little bit?
No, I don't hear
Okay,
scratchy.
that's good. Um Bobby was like, I just I didn't want anything bad to happen, and I just had surgery. So if I got a little emotional, that's why. I
Yeah.
need to go off camera for just a second, but I can still
Okay.
talk.
Yeah. Bobby was like, what the fuck are you doing? Live on
Yeah,
air.
I
I'm not
mean, like
sure if it
really loud,
was. I'm not sure
really
if it
loud.
was. It was on pay per view. Was This is before Nitro, so it couldn't have
Is
been
it before
Nitro.
Nitro? Because I could have sworn it was on Nitro.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure before Nitro. Hold on. Oops. No, it wasn't on Nitro. I could tell because it's based on.
Okay. Well, I know it wasn't on Thunder because Thunder didn't come till '98.
Oh, it was during a Saturday night taping. Because I'm looking at the footage now and it says WCW Saturday night.
Oh, you're kidding. Of
It's during
course.
a
Of
Saturday
course.
night taping.
Of course. I don't know why I was thinking about Nitro. I thought it was on Nitro to save my butt,
Yeah,
but
it was. Let me just to say here. No, it says the infamous blooper. Uh, I just watched this pay per view and laughed my ass off. Glad somebody has it on YouTube. Clash of the Champions, January 23rd, 1996. It's before Nitro, yeah. It's at a Clash.
hmm,
It was January 23rd, 1996, according to this. And it wasn't a pay per view. It's Clash. It was on TBS, probably.
okay.
But yeah, it was during a Clash. And the Kevin Sullivan match was also during a Clash, where he said, "I respect you, Booker Man," and walked off. So it was multiple
That's
incidents
crazy.
at Clashes that Brian Pillman did. And that match with Bobby Heenan was it against Eddie Guerrero, by the way.
Of course.
He's having a match against Eddie
What the
Guerrero,
fuck?
and he, for some reason,
You're
he
like,
grabbed Bobby, like he's trying to hide from Eddie, so he grabbed Bobby like this, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because Bobby didn't know it was gonna happen
yeah.
because he had that
And
loose cannon gimmick.
yeah, and I mean, give kudos to Brain. He honestly was just trying to protect himself because I mean,
hmm
literally, he just had neck surgery. So,
He
some
when
people
he
I guess
went
say he shouldn't have come back, but
when he was in the WWF, that clutch, the Ultimate Warrior, broke his neck, and he worked with
oh
a
my
broken
god,
neck for years.
I
Yeah,
wish I could have told him, Bobby, please don't take that because that dude's gonna hurt you.
he took basically it was like the press slam he would do,
And
and
he
he
literally
would
just
he would just drop
falls.
you recklessly, like, "Oh,
Yeah,
here you go," like, and then he landed wrong on his neck and broke his neck, and he worked with it for years because he
yeah.
couldn't get surgery because he had no health insurance because Vince didn't provide health insurance. So the
No.
first thing he did when he got to WCW, became an employee, he immediately got his neck fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Once he got that job at WCW, so
And I mean, like I said, I miss Bobby Heenan, man. I miss I saw him like at the end of his life and he didn't look the same. I was
no, he
like,
didn't
that
look good.
doesn't look like Bobby Heenan.
No, he was He was going through cancer, and he was going through a lot of like physically, like he just didn't look the same.
His
Yeah, it
daughter
was
was a
tough.
nurse. His daughter
It's
ended
tough
up
to
being a
watch.
nurse.
Um,
Yeah, it was tough to watch him at the end of his life. Yeah.
yeah, but I think he made his last appearance in wrestling, at least in WWF, was like 2004 or 5 ish, because he died in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember when he died exactly, but
2010, I think.
yeah, something like that. I think his last appearance was that gimmick battle royal veteran or legends battle royal Vince had at WrestleMania 17, where he did the commentary for that match.
And he when he was at a fan fest and he didn't look anything, but he just kept doing this. I'm like, Bobby, come on.
Bobby didn't give a
Let's be
shit. I mean,
civil here.
he was close to death at that point, and I wouldn't blame him. It's like, why am I here? I'm about to die anyway, so there's this.
Well,
I don't. I'm not mad. I don't blame him. It's like, ugh. Like he
I
was sick
just
of life. I wish
yeah,
he could have lasted a little longer,
yeah, I mean, he
he
didn't
was what
deserve
is
that.
yeah. But also
Uh
the other Wild Samoan passed away. Alpha.
yeah, Alpha.
Yeah, he passed away yesterday. I think wasn't it? It was announced yesterday.
Yep,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was right before SmackDown. I remember because
Yeah,
because
because
like
WCW. Ah, okay. Gotta wake up here. WWE said, "Yeah, we want to remember Alpha today," and I was like, "Oh no, that would be 3, I think."
yeah,
Um,
because Sika
uh,
passed first.
Zika, who was
Sika,
Roman Reigns' dad,
uh-huh.
and then Kevin
Alpha.
Sullivan,
Yeah, now
and then
Alpha,
and
yeah.
now Alpha. It always happens in 3s.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Alpha was Roman Reigns' uncle, but so
Yeah.
and Roman Reigns still worked SmackDown that night. And last night
Yes, he did.
he did
Yes.
the angle with we got beat up by the bloodline, specifically Jacob Fatu, but we'll get
Are
to
we
that
going to
in a
talk
moment.
about that? Because I
Yeah,
saw Raw. I actually recorded it. I know. Come on,
yeah, we'll
Steph.
get
What
to
are you
that, but
doing? Okay. I was going to say,
yeah,
because I watched it. I'm like,
yeah, we'll get to that, but I
I
just
watched a little
wanted
bit of
to
SmackDown, a little bit.
it's just like
And we'll talk about the Bash in Berlin, which is a play on the
yeah, we
words
got
of Bash at the Beach,
yeah, WWE
for those WCW guys.
and we also have to talk about the All In thing in London, which is
Oh,
not
no.
tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but next Sunday, 25th. So AEW is running a pay per view the same week as WWE in their Bash of Berlin card. They're in London, WWE's in Berlin, so they're both in Europe too. So not a coincidence, I don't think.
Yeah, but their ratings are going in the toilet faster than we've ever thought. Worse than WCW. I mean, I was listening to Jim Cornette. They were talking about, I mean, this is the lowest ratings they've ever had in the history of AEW at this point.
Oh yeah, it's
Oh, well,
at
the Olympics were on. That doesn't mean people were watching the Olympics.
Raw.
People were watching
Raw
Raw.
Raw moved from the USA Network to Sci-Fi
Right.
during the Olympics, and
During
they
the
still had
Olympics.
like the highest ratings they've had in years.
Mm-hmm.
So WWE had a built-in excuse if ratings went down. Oh well, we moved networks. Of course they would have made that excuse, but I'm just saying
Right.
if they wanted to, it's like, well, we moved networks. Here's the thing: if you're good, if you're hot, the audience will find you. You can be on a channel nobody knows about, or you could be
You could
wherever.
be
They'll
on the
find you.
Science Channel that nobody
Yeah,
watches, or like only like a handful of people watch, and people will still look for you.
they found we because it's my I have YouTube TV, so I just record Raw. Doesn't matter where it's on, it'll record
Mm-hmm.
automatically. So
We have Comcast, so I'm like, Dad, can you do me a favor? Can you record Raw? He goes, what? I said,
mm,
can you record Raw? He goes, yeah, if I can watch it with you. I'm like, when do you want to watch wrestling with me? You haven't watched wrestling since, I was 4 years old. Or no, I was, because he got us some pay-per-views. He got us some St. Valentine's Day Massacre, and then Fully Loaded when the Undertaker or Austin hit the Undertaker in the head with a camera. It was a first blood match. That's why. But like, yeah, like I'm like, he hasn't watched wrestling since I stopped watching it,
90.
and that was the Attitude Era.
I had the statute of limitations, I assume, passed, but we had one of those boxes which we can watch all the pay-per-views like for free. Like I told that story before, so I didn't have to beg my parents or my mom to buy any pay-per-views after 90.
You're so lucky.
After 97, like we didn't have to. I'd have to beg my mom to buy pay-per-views anymore. She bought Bash at the Beach 96, which was a night where Hogan turned and joined the NWO.
Hogan turned.
Yeah.
Bash at the Beach 97 was good too because Curt turned on DDP.
Yeah.
Because he pulled the ropes down.
I was like...
They leave that part out.
I was like, we got to find out what's happening with the NWO. Diesel and Razor are in WCW now. I called them Razor because that's how she knew them. So it was like, oh, really? I didn't know. It's like $20 then. It was like nothing, $15, $20. So
yeah.
And it's adjusted for inflation, it's probably $40 or $50. But at the time, that was like, it's $15, $20.
Yeah.
I don't know.
In the 90s, that was pretty cheap. Yeah, I had to watch it through the, I listened to it like a radio. So I knew Curt turned on Flair at Fall Brawl because I listened to it like a radio.
Yeah, the
younger my mom was
audience.
Cheap and she would never.
When you put on the pay-per-view channel, it would you could hear it, but you couldn't see it. It was
you couldn't see it. It was scrambled. Yeah,
it was scrambled. The signal, so you could hear it. Luckily, my mama actually ordered Bash at the Beach 96, and I was on a three-way call with two buddies throughout the entire night. Because we had three-way calling too, which is another thing that the kids don't know about today. I mean, because
what the heck is that? Is that Zoom on three-way? Yeah. No.
And I was like, and we were arguing all night about who the third man was going to be, and it was like the entire night, who's the third man? Who's the third man? And then finally, I was like, it's got to be Hogan. Like, who else could it be? Hogan was WWF, Hall and Nash part of Diesel and Razor in WWF too, so it has to be Hogan. Like, no, it could never be Hogan.
But
it was supposed to be Sting. Eric Bischoff told the story. It was supposed to be Sting, but eventually Hogan got to him, and he's like, well, who's the third man, brother? It's like, well, we thought I was going to have Sting do it. You're looking at the third man. And Bischoff's like, okay, yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted anyways. He was so excited.
That's what we wanted anyways. All right, where are we starting? Are we starting with Berlin? Or are we starting with All In? Or where are we starting? You are the coup de grace. You are the zone.
Thank you for joining us, Rolex. How are we feeling about pre-stating Lana? The rumor's true. I've seen pictures of them together. I don't know how true they're actually dating. Lana, Rusev's ex-wife. He's in AEW. What's his name in AEW? He has been on TV for so long that I forget. On AEW. It's not Rusev. It's guys, what's his name in AEW? I don't remember. But yeah, it's the Bulgarian Brutes, that guy.
That guy that went to Bulgaria and Tony Khan was still paying for him?
Yeah, his wife.
I mean his ex-wife.
His ex-wife, yeah, apparently they're rumored to be dating Damian Priest. And again, I've seen pictures of them together, but I don't know if they're dating or not. But I don't think so.
I thought Damian Priest was married. To be honest,
apparently not. Yeah, so
I mean, I know Rhea Ripley just got married.
Yeah, to Buddy Matthews. He's a part of the House of Black in AEW. So
House of Black.
Yeah, he's a part of that group, and apparently he might have re-signed with AEW. I don't know. I mean, unless his contract is up. Rusev. Miro, that's his name.
Miro.
Yeah,
he hasn't been on because I think he's hurt, indefinitely.
Yeah, I mean, he went back to Bulgaria last time I heard. He didn't. And Tony Khan, being the mark that he is, still paying him. He's still sending his check. So it's like, why would he come back? It's like, I don't blame him. But yeah, I mean, let's
So
start
that's to be determined there. But thank you for the
Rolex.
comment.
Yeah.
I have not heard
Appreciate
that
it.
rumor
Please
at all.
please give us a like. But yeah, I've heard that. I've seen pictures of them together, but I don't know whether they're actually dating or not. So
It's not like they come out with it, They didn't come out with it, so that's dot dot dot. It's
we'll
to be
see.
determined at that point.
So let's start with All In because I'm not interested in it too much, and we'll get to this quickly. There's 9 matches already booked for All In. 9.
Jiminy.
And we're still 2 weeks away from the pay-per-view because tomorrow is Sunday, and then
Right.
there's one more Dynamite, and there's one more Collision and Rampage. They have 3 shows, so there's probably going to be a few more matches added to this card.
What happened to Sunday Night Heat? I guess that went
Sunday Night Heat, wasn't that a
yeah
WWF
for
thing?
WWE. Because we're gonna
Yeah.
watch tomorrow. I'm gonna have Kit Cabello on my show for episode 50, and we're gonna
Oh.
watch RVD's match with Curt Hennig, which was on Sunday Night Heat.
I think Vince, that was just canceled. Wasn't it on MTV? Remember correctly? I'm trying. No, what?
Yes, it was
Oh,
on MTV.
Yeah, I remember because Sunday Night Heat would be like the pre-show leading into pay-per-view. So,
Yeah.
So, and they would sometimes film angles for the pay-per-view on Heat, so you couldn't really miss Heat.
There was only one time Raw was on Saturday. Do you remember this? I think it was Austin was in a gauntlet match with the corporation.
I don't remember that, but I remember a Thursday night Raw I've watched.
Okay, a Thursday night. I remember the Saturday night because I think there was a lot of stuff on Monday. They just didn't want to deal with it, so they said, "Okay, we'll just move it to Saturday."
At the time, Raw would be preempted. Raw would be moved for a dog show. What was that dog show called?
Right, that Westminster's dog show or something.
Dog
Like,
show,
I want to see wrestling, not freaking dogs.
And USA would rather air that on Mondays than Raw. It was like, but WWF was at the hottest it would be for decades after that.
I mean, what do you say? It's a dog show. Look at the cock on that one. I'd say he's a winner if he doesn't trip over it. I mean, come on.
They started doing that like in the mid 90s, which I got because WWF was cold, so like ratings were down, the Westminster dog show got better ratings probably. But by the late 90s, they were still doing it. I'm like, because of the Saturday night Raws and the Thursday nights and stuff, it got so bad. Raw got so good that it was beating Monday Night Football for years during the 90s.
Yeah. Yep.
And
because everyone wanted to see that Austin versus McMahon thing.
Yeah. And now they're not beating Monday Night Football anymore, but they're doing well for football season starting.
They are hot again. Yes, they even got someone like me to watch it.
AEW is going to be a disaster when college football starts, when the NFL starts up. Those ratings could get brutally low.
I mean, look at their ratings now. They have the lowest ratings in AEW history. I'm not making that up. I heard that on Jim Cornette's podcast. Yeah. I mean,
it's bad.
You should hang your head if you're an AEW fan at this point. What are you watching? Because you're watching bunk. You're watching crap. You're watching shit. You're watching something that is not even beating. It couldn't even beat the Olympics. It couldn't beat the NBA, for heaven's sake.
That's why in April, May, and June, the excuse why ratings were down because of the NBA playoffs. Even though they tried to kind of promote AEW during the playoffs, but they really didn't do a good job. There was an infamous moment at the Celtics. The Celtics were playing in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they were playing against the Pacers. Mercedes Moné was there in Boston, in her hometown, and at the arena, and they're promoting. Please make sure and the commentator is like, "Oh yeah, watch AEW Dynamite live on TBS Thursday, Wednesday nights." Blah blah blah. Blah. Nobody reacted.
They were falling asleep on you, like, hello.
Yeah, nobody reacted to her. She was on the big screen. Nobody in Boston really reacted to this woman, and she's from Boston too. She's a local girl. Nobody even reacted to her on the big screen. They all the commentators were kind of half-assedly saying, Oh yeah, make sure you watch AEW Dynamite Wednesday 8 o'clock. You know, blah blah blah. Oh look at that slam dunk by Jason Tatum. You know, so they didn't. Nobody cared. But
They have a commercial for AEW every 3 seconds on TNT and TBS, and still they can't get people to watch them.
it was like that story that Kurt Angle told. Like this is when he left the WWE for TNA, and he was gone. He was on TNA for a few years, and he happened to be walking by a airport, and some old fans of his from the WWE is like, "Oh, hey, Kurt Angle, can I get an autograph?" Like, yeah, sure. It's like, "Hey, when you coming back to wrestling? When you coming back to wrestling?" He was in TNA for 3 or 4 years,
Oh my gosh.
and he's like, I'm on TNA every. I think they're on Thursday nights. Then every Thursday nights at 8 p.m. on Spike." I'm like, he's like, "Oh, I have never even heard of that."
Yeah, did they
That's it.
even like promote TNA? Like,
When
I
they
want to say
hired,
they almost didn't, but I mean, Hennig was on, TNA.
he's on the early TNAs, right? When they were on pay per
Yeah.
view every week.
So it was
He
like
was on the early TNA shows.
late 2002.
Yeah. Okay, since like 2007 or 8. I know they promoted the hell out of TNA when they hired Hogan.
Oh, of
When they
course,
hired,
because Hogan was coming to TNA.
yeah, they were hired when they hired Hogan and Bischoff. And Bischoff said at the time, I was just there to produce Hogan. I wasn't supposed to be a part of the rest of the show. Of course, he ended up being a part of the rest of the show. He produced everybody because
Yeah.
Bischoff, took power basically in TNA. Even though he said, "Well, that wasn't my intention." I
Just like
would
WCW.
Dixie Carter wanted me to run everything. What a coincidence, right? Allegedly, Dixie Carter told him, "Yeah, run everything." That's not what happened. Probably it was Hulk's insistence that Bischoff be a part of the show and not just produce his stuff.
Yeah, you wash my hand, you watch my back, I'll watch yours.
And
One hand washes
Bischoff,
the other.
Bischoff, and his son Garrett, who by the way sucked as a wrestler. Have you ever seen Garrett Bischoff work? You don't want to see that. I mean, that is so bad. Garrett Bischoff, Eric's oldest son. No, you don't want to see him work. I did. I had the misfortune of seeing it because Garrett was a referee initially. As soon as
Mhm.
Eric came in with Hogan, he was hired in as a referee. So classic nepotism. And then they put him in the ring. We thought it was a good idea to put him in the ring, and he was
Make him a
beating.
wrestler.
Yeah, he was beating guys. He was beating legitimately TNA stars, and I'm like, well, that's how he was a referee like a couple months ago. And now he's like, and then he became a part of the Aces and Eights, which was a whole big angle they were filming at the time. And he had shit matches, and he just wasn't good. Him and his dad left TNA and sued the company for unpaid wages. So that shows. And then Hogan left shortly after, and they raped the company of a bunch of money and did nothing for it. And look at TNA today. I don't know how they're still around, but they are.
Really? I thought they went off the air years ago. Or did they
No,
just get bought off?
No,
Bought
they were
out?
they're on. They got bought out by Anthem Sports, which is a Canadian sports company, and they ended up on Access TV, which is their own network. So they're
Okay.
airing it on their own network, and they're putting up stuff on YouTube. They put up full shows on YouTube, so that's how they're surviving. Like barely, they're surviving.
Wow. Okay.
Which
So
is the future of AEW, to be honest, at this point. Because if if Warner Brothers Discovery doesn't renew them, then they're gonna probably Tony's gonna either gonna have to buy TBS or TNT or ask his dad because he has no money.
yeah, I
His
mean,
dad
at
has
this
all the
point,
money.
you're literally just throwing $1 billion into a toilet.
He's like, he might go like, "Hey, Daddy, can you buy TNT and TBS for me?" Because honestly, Warner Brothers Discovery isn't doing well. They lost
Right.
$10 billion in the last quarter.
Right.
They lost $10 billion, so they're not doing well.
No.
By the way, they also lost the NBA, which is a huge deal for them because the NBA is most of their money. But the
Yeah.
NBA, so if they lost the NBA, why the fuck would they want AEW? I mean, it's like,
Oh.
especially Tony Khan wants 3 or 4 times what he's getting now as a TV rights fee. 3 or 4 times, whatever he's getting now, he wants 3 or 4 times.
Excuse me.
This is
Yeah, this is just ridiculous at this point. And
it's not gonna
it's
happen.
literally, I mean, if you saw that picture it's like a mom and a kid. It's like Tony Khan and somebody, and then there's one that's treading water, and it said AEW was the skeleton.
Yeah, and Tony's so desperate that he had that meeting with Shane McMahon, and apparently it was Mercedes Moné that leaked the photo.
Really?
So I'm sure, I'm not sure if Jim Cornette said it or somebody said it, but somebody in the wrestling world said, yeah, it was Mercedes who took the photo and leaked it.
Okay.
So she was the source behind that photo, and I'm sure Tony Khan asked her to do it because, like, hey, I'm meeting with Shane McMahon, guys. Shane, Vince's son, even though he called Vince McMahon the Harvey Weinstein of wrestling, but apparently his son Shane is good enough to meet with. Ridiculous.
Yeah, but I still question why Shane McMahon. Does he think that Shane's going to help them? I mean, it's their competition. Shane's never going to go to AEW, and he's not going to help them.
If Shane came into AEW, that would be a holy shit moment. Like, that would be the holy shit moment that the fans love to chant about.
Hey, CBD's voter.
Hey, CBC is here. TL Orca apparently did mushrooms or ate mushrooms. Nice.
What's the topic? Well, we're
Wrestling.
talking AEW.
This is a wrestling show today. But I appreciate you hanging out anyways. But yeah, I mean, All in London, by the way, they only sold 40 to 45,000 tickets for All in Wembley. When last year they sold 70. So this isn't good. And
so
in fact,
they're doing the downward spiral.
It's so bad that they're moving All in to Texas next year. Yeah, I'm not sure you heard this announcement, but they're moving All in to the Global Life Stadium, the home of the Texas Rangers, the baseball team. And the capacity is like 40,000. Exactly what they sold for All in this year. Honestly,
I think you did something because something with chocolate.
Yeah,
I don't come with chocolate. Sorry.
Honestly, that's smart because he sold 40,000 tickets, and the stadium he's going to next year sold 40,000. It had 40,000 seats, so it'll look nice at least. If they sell out. What if they don't sell out Texas? That baseball stadium next year. Then they're circling the drain. They're almost close to death.
I was going to say, because, I mean, they're already not selling out now, right? They didn't sell at Wembley.
No, not even close.
Okay.
Wembley's going to be an embarrassment. I don't know how they're going to pipe and drape Wembley to make it look good because Wembley has 90,000 seats, I believe. Hold on, Wembley. Let me see how many seats it has. 90,000 seats. Yeah, I was right.
Yeah, so they only sold less than half.
40. Yeah, they sold last year. They sold 70, which is impressive. I'm not going to shit on that. I mean, that's pretty good.
No one's shitting on that, but
they sold 70,000 tickets.
But we're gonna shit on the fact that they only sold 45. You said?
Yeah, 40 to 45,000
for 9 matches. Now let's hear the matches because, I mean, I want to hear why people are going to you.
Vince did SummerSlam '92 in Wembley. He couldn't sell it out. And the main event by Bret Hart and British Bulldog. They drew like 80,000,
which was one of theirs. Yeah,
they drew like 80,000. Now, to fill up Wembley is almost impossible. That's why Vince never went back to Wembley after '92. But yeah, let's get to the matches. So this match apparently is a pre-show match because it says 1P here on Wikipedia. So P being pre-show, I'm assuming. Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway versus Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii in a mixed tag team matchup. Last year they opened with CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. What a difference a year makes, huh?
Now they got the shittiest stars.
This is after CM Punk beat up Jack Perry. That was the last appearance. So,
and that's why they've been spiraling or circling the drain, as you say, because again, they released the video of Punk literally having the guy in the headlock. And then, they're like, oh, well, we're going to, because I think Greg said it best that, we're going to see if CM Punk was telling the truth because I thought he lied because why would they release the video? Because they're stupid. They don't think.
Yeah, and basically CM Punk said, "Yeah, they confirmed everything I said happened, and the video confirmed it. Why would they air that?
Because
It
they're
doesn't make any
stupid.
sense." Yeah, I would if I were to air that. The only way I would air that is assuming CM Punk would come back, and that would lead to an angle. But CM Punk already signed in WWE, so airing it made no sense.
Well, they don't make no sense because they're stupid.
No, it
But
doesn't.
I think, and I'm not gonna watch it, so
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
don't.
gonna make a
I
guess here. I say Chris Statlander.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be surprised if the heels won that, but I don't really care enough about to even.
I just like
Chris
when Jim
Statlander,
Cornette goes Ishii.
he's made of. It's like he looks like a baked potato in the ring. I think it's Ishii was the one he would call a baked potato. Apparently, 20 years ago, Ishii is one of the best in the world, but he looks like a baked potato now. He does. I mean, you look at him, it's like. But let's move on. We have Timeless Tony Storm versus the Glamour Mariah May for the women's world title.
Timeless Tony Storm.
These are the two women where they had the lesbian angle with Mira Shirakawa just last month, and now they're blood enemies, and they're having a match for women's title.
Is this
And
the one where she sucked her blood? It was like vampirism.
yeah, and she used the heel to bust
The
her
heel
up
of
and
her,
then suck her
yeah.
blood, which made me sick, to be honest. It was like I was like, what the fuck
I'm
are they
like, I
doing?
think I need to go throw up now.
Yeah, and congratulations on getting hepatitis B. I mean, come on. I mean, you don't suck other people's blood. Look at unfortunately Abby Abdullah the Butcher got TB or whatever that is. What did I say? Hepatitis B.
Yeah, hepatitis B, not
Yeah,
TB.
tuberculosis, which is deadly as hell. But
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think you get that from a
no,
bloodletting.
tuberculosis is something else. I confused it
Yeah,
with
you get that in
hepatitis
your
B.
lungs. That's more of
Yeah,
a.
yeah.
Sometimes I wonder if I do have TB. Ooh. As much
I
as I'm
think that
coughing.
I think Mariah May is going to get the belt because she's from the UK. So
Okay.
Tony is a mark and probably going to put the belt on her, even though she just literally just turned her. And
Okay.
Timeless Tony Storm's been over for a while, but she's going to get that belt because Tony is a mark. He's going to put it on the hometown girl. So even though she's
Then
the
I agree
heel,
with
but
you.
but
I've
she,
learned that I'm not to ever doubt you ever. Because you're like
but I can't.
you're like a psychic.
I can't even guess Tony Khan's booking. With Triple H, at least you could. Again, you can't even guess Tony Khan's booking. He could keep it on Storm, but we'll see. The next match, MJF the champion versus Will Ospreay for the AEW American Championship, which was the international championship.
Oh yay,
because
ostrich.
MJF apparently is now a heel and he's playing an arrogant American. Because he goes over to the UK, he's going to be that arrogant American. That.
Well, like Gunther is playing the evil German, but yet he's the hometown boy.
Yeah, I mean I'm not sure he's ripping
Only
off what Gunther's
they
doing.
do it better. Yeah, Gunther does it better, but I mean, I'm gonna pick Ospreay because again,
he's
the
gonna get that
hometown
belt
boy.
back. He's gonna get that belt back, and then they'll switch it back to the international championship because this is how Tony works. Why switch? That belt originally was called the All Continental belt or whatever, and Orange Cassidy held it. That was his belt. That belt was created for him, and because Tony didn't. At least Tony was smart enough not to put the world title Orange Cassidy. But we'll see. He might do it later because you see, I'm gonna list out later in this card. I'm gonna get to Orange Cassidy in a second. He's definitely on this card. So Ospreay's gonna get that belt back, and he'll get his big hometown pop. Even though this should have been the main event for the world title, but I digress.
Well, apparently we don't know how to book.
Tony doesn't know how to book. All right, the next match has
you could book better.
Oh, I know I can. The next match, because I wouldn't use 90% of the guys on this card, but that's just me. Most of these guys and girls would not be on this card if I were booking. But the next match, we have Jungle Jackoff, Jack Perry versus Darby Allin in a coffin match for the TNT Championship. It's basically a casket match, but they can't call it a casket match because it's a WWE trademark, so they call it a coffin match instead.
Can we pick nobody to win? I mean, because
I
this
think
is just dumb.
I think Jungle Jackoff's going to retain because Darby Allin is still hoping to climb Mount Everest one day, and you can't put a belt on him like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if Tony did. Again, I mean, this is what he does. His booking makes no sense. So
I just say nobody at this point
yeah,
because
I
they're
don't
just going
care.
to do
Jungle
stupid angles. They're going to go through tables. Heck, they
that
may even
coffin
go
match is
through
going to be a
glass.
garbage match. It's
Yeah,
going to be It's like
if
last year, which has led to the fight with CM Punk. Jack Perry was like, "Real
right.
glass, deal with it," or whatever it was. What was it? Deal with it, or
Yeah, but the
Cry
fact
Me a
that he
River.
had
It
glass
was Cry Me a
sticking out of
River.
his back and he's still trying to wrestle, I'm like, stop, you idiot. Go get
Cry
some,
Me a
like,
River.
yeah, go get me some, go get some medical attention or something.
So Jungle Jackoff's probably going to retain this belt because they're still doing the elite angle, even though it's failing. All right, so
Yeah,
the
it's not
next
the
match,
NWO. Have we
no,
figured that
it's
out now? It's not the NWO?
no, it's like they're copying the NWO with the lamest, smallest guys in the company. Hogan, Hall, and Nash they had swagger, they were stars, and they were huge, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So
They were over.
they were over too, and it's just ridiculous. All right, so the next match is for the AEW TBS Championship. Mercedes Moné with Camille versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, for the championship. To be clear, Mercedes Moné allegedly has creative control in her contract.
So she'll probably
if that's
retain.
true, she's going to retain this fucking belt because there's no
Yeah.
way she's dropping it in her second defense.
Nope. I agree. I concur. I don't know what to say about it because like they're paying her a couple $1 million and she's shit. She wasn't really much in WWE and that's why they got rid of her.
WWE, Matt, they took Sasha Banks, and Vince McMahon had to have done a Jedi mind trick because everybody thought she was a star. Vince and his Jedi mind tricks, like he's the master of doing this. He turned the Ultimate Warrior into a star. Like,
and then the Ultimate Warrior became a shit. I mean,
yeah,
he wasn't already a shit.
Yeah, he was already he turned Ultimate Warrior into a star. The guy couldn't wrestle, and he was over for about 2 years before the fame got to his head and Vince fired him with that letter. We know what letter, when he said, "You become a legend in your own mind." That infamous letter that Vince just eviscerated him in this letter.
Basically.
Yeah, and Ultimate Warrior is never the same. He was completely lost whatever confidence he had left in that letter. But Mercedes Moné has creative control like Hogan did. She's no Hogan. Like, what is Tony Khan doing? Yeah, like he's Hulk Hogan. Like, she's like the modern day Hulk Hogan, except that she isn't. And she was the fourth wheel in the Four Horsewomen, which, if guys don't know, is Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Charlotte Flair. So they called themselves the Four Horsewomen, ripping off Charlotte's dad in the Four Horsewomen. Yeah. So they were all best friends, So that's why they call themselves the Four Horsewomen. And she was the fourth wheel. And they're ruining Camille too, and making her bodyguard, basically her muscle. Because Camille, I saw her a lot in the NWA, in Billy Corgan's NWA, and she was fantastic. She was the NWA's women's champion for like 2 years, and she was a dominant force there. And now she's reduced to fucking being Mercedes Moné's muscle, like she's China or something. It's just fucking absurd. All right, whatever. Mercedes Moné is retaining that belt. There's no way she's dropping it to Britt Baker. And the next match, Orange Cassidy versus TBA to be determined. So it's a casino gauntlet match for a future AEW World Championship match. So Orange Cassidy is probably going to be in the world title picture now.
Okay.
Seriously, because Orange Cassidy is going to be part of this gauntlet. And he's going to win this fucking gauntlet because it says to be determined, or to be announced. But he's probably going to win.
Go ahead.
He's probably going to win this gauntlet match and face whoever the champion is.
I just know that Brian Last doesn't like Orange Cassidy because his wrestling is shit. So that's what I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, it's
He's
pockets. I
probably
mean,
going to
Jim
win,
Cornette.
but why would you elevate him if his wrestling is shit in the first place?
His gimmick has not changed, and he's been in the AW since the beginning. And his
Mhm.
pockets gimmick was lame, but at the same time,
That
you
was
get a
pockets?
Orange Cassidy's pockets. He's the one that he would put his hands in his pockets and sell, and to do the fake kicks he would do to your legs, and the guys sold it.
Okay.
I'm like, no, no, please don't. And he's not changed in 5 years. He's not evolved his gimmick. Oh, more thunder. But he's not evolved his gimmick at all. He's the same guy. And if it would have been interesting, and he came in as that comedy character, and eventually he turned into a more serious wrestler somehow. You know, you could do that long term storytelling where he goes from that to being maybe gaining some weight and being a more serious wrestler, but that never happened. And because he's still Tony Khan's favorite wrestler, so
Right,
and that
right.
tells you everything you need to know about Tony Khan, by the way.
I mean, what, is he only 150 pounds? Like, you could
Yes,
beat the shit
he,
out of him and
yeah,
just
it
go,
looks like,
bing.
yeah. Uh, so the next match, I definitely wouldn't use Chris Jericho now if I'm booking
Oh,
Chris Jericho, the champion, with Big Bill and Brian Keith versus Hook for the FTW championship. If Hook loses, he can never challenge for the FTW championship again, as long as Chris Jericho is the champion.
and I hope that means that he will literally take his dad's advice and go to WWE. Hook, you are being wasted away over shit. It is shit. AEW is shit. Go to WWE and actually make something of yourself like your dad did after
I don't,
ECW went out.
I don't know about Hook's contract situation, whether he's expiring or he has time left on his deal. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what he
Please.
does, because I I wouldn't be surprised if his dad is kind of calling Triple H and Shawn Michaels about his son, because they he was in WWE for years, Taz, so it's like he
Right.
knows everybody over there. And Taz doesn't give a shit. He's there for the check. He doesn't care what AEW does. He could stay there for the rest of his career. Tony will pay him. He's a mark.
I mean, hell, Ric Flair was there for the longest time and didn't fucking do anything.
He
Tony was
was
just paying him.
Yeah, and he was sponsoring. He was paying him to sponsor his drink too. That drink that nobody wanted.
Yeah, a
That
drink that
energy
people
drink.
literally were giving back. They just wanted a picture with him, and then they were
Yeah,
handing it right back in for a refund.
they had to buy, or they had to buy the energy drink in order to get a photo with Flair and an autograph or something like that. And then they immediately either threw it out or returned it or something. But it was bad. Apparently that drink. All right. So the next match on this card, I definitely wouldn't use the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks versus FTR or the Acclaimed. So it hasn't been decided yet. So it's either going to be FTR or the Acclaimed for the AW Tag Team title. So we don't know who's going to be in this match yet. So FTR has become a shell of themselves. They're a joke. They get beat by everybody now. And the Acclaimed they claimed used to be one of the hottest acts in wrestling just a year or two ago, and now they're a shell too. Tony Khan has booked them into oblivion too. So
Is he still
what?
doing that where like the Bucks are gonna like attack Tony Khan and do their own thing, like the NWO?
Yeah, they're still doing the wannabe NWO angle, except the Young Bucks make a ruling about something, and Tony Khan uses Christopher Daniels, who's a Adam Pearce ripoff, to
Mm-hmm.
overturn them, and they make another ruling, and they overturn each other, and it's like, so who's really in charge? Fuck if I know, because Tony doesn't have the balls to do anything. So
Oh my
I don't know who
god,
the fuck's in charge.
this
So
fucking sucks.
it's terrible.
Sorry.
The every time the Young Bucks are on TV, the ratings go down.
Yeah,
Every single
that's why
time.
the ratings are doing this.
Every single solitary time. So, eh. So I can't make a prediction because I don't know who's ultimately going to be in the match. But
I mean,
the Young Bucks
honestly, I
probably
don't
keep.
want to make a prediction because they suck. Okay.
I assume the Young Bucks will keep these belts because are the EVPs, and I'm sure they have some creative control. So, and they're not dropping the belts to either of these teams. So, unless I'm wrong, unless they drop them, because because they continue this NWO angle. So I assume they're gonna want to keep all the belts. So,
I
uh,
mean, whatever
I,
Tony Khan decides, I suppose.
the main event, Swerve Strickland, the champion, versus Bryan Danielson. It's a title versus career match for the AEW World Title. It's so
Who's losing the career?
Bryan
Bryan
Danielson. He's putting
Danielson.
his career
Okay.
on his line. Oh, he's putting his career on the line. Here,
Um. It could be Swerve retains because maybe Bryan Danielson's had enough. Uh-oh. He left for a second. I'm just going to. All right, I'm going to do some shameless plugs real fast. So for my Curt Hennig was the best that Curt Hennig was the best Changed My Mind podcast. Check out episode 46 right now. It is Curt and Booker T. That also tomorrow I will have Kit Cabello on my show. We're going to do episode 50 and we're going to watch the matches between Curt Hennig and RVD and then Curt Hennig and Tommy Dreamer. I'm also going to have some promos going as well. So that's episode 50. So that should be airing probably sometime in September. And then Angel is actually going to be on my show on the 18th of August, and that'll be episode 51. We're going to watch along to Curt Hennig and Ray Traylor, who was the big boss man, but it's going to be WCW. Let's see.
I'm
That's
talking.
okay. I was just doing
I'm
some shameless
talking,
plugs.
and I realize that I'm disconnected again. This always happens. So, yeah.
Are we
So,
going to
like, I was.
go on Rumble only and do some videos?
Um.
Or do you want to just cancel that for this week?
Yeah, because I was running late, and it's already 9:15. So, and I got to
Okay.
be off by 10 because Indy's doing a show at 11. So, got to be
Okay.
off before 10. So, but
So
yeah, I mean, like
I
I
think
was.
that I I don't know. And like I said, unless Bryan Danielson is just, he's had enough. You know what I mean? But has he really? I don't
I
know.
don't think he's had enough.
Yeah, so
I
either he goes with it or hey Cowboy Kitty, either he takes it or I don't know. I just don't see him going anywheres.
Hey, Cowboy. Appreciate you just joining us for a bit. Um, Brian Danielson has to. I think what's ultimately going to happen, he's going to get this belt, and then he's going to go out on Dynamite on Wednesday and retire and surrender the belt, or at least go home. He said, "I
Okay.
proved my point. I'm the AEW World Champion. I'm going to give up the belt." And Tony Khan will do one of his beloved tournaments to decide the next AEW World Champion.
Oh jeez.
So, and Swerve be a part of the tournament and blah, blah, blah. But who's the AW World Champion after that? Fuck if I know.
Yeah.
Because if I were booking, it would be on Wardlow or Powerhouse Hobbs, but no, not even on TV, either of these guys. So, whatever.
Hey
Hey,
Indy.
Indy. Who are these wrestling people? We are the wrestling people. My throat's like dry. Hold on. But let's go to
Raw?
Bash in Berlin.
Okay. So
Real quick.
Bash in Berlin.
There's fewer matches, I'm sure, than
Well,
right now.
there are some good ones. There are some good
Oh
ones, and
yeah.
I have some opinions on this one.
So there's only 3 matches that are booked as of now. I mean,
As
this
of
will
right now.
definitely be added. Yeah, I'm sure they'll add some matches.
We have what? Excuse me. We have like what 1 or 2 weeks yet.
Yeah, we're still 2 weeks away. It's on August 31st, which is my 38th birthday. So,
Yay! He'll be as old as I am. Welcome to hell, son. Welcome to hell. No. But yeah, I can make the 30th.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I was mentioning that yesterday. I was like, it's my birthday, Angel, in the afternoon. It's episode 70, so I want to bring on a few guests, and we'll bullshit around.
That's why I'm
and
having
talk.
Kit Cabela on tomorrow. He's going to be episode 50. And we're
Okay.
going to watch the RVD and Tommy Dreamer matches between Curt Hennig and RVD and Tommy Dreamer. And then you are coming on next weekend to my show, and we're going to watch Ray Traylor versus Curt Hennig on WCW Nitro.
Boss man.
The big boss man.
Or Big Bubba Rogers. I mean, Henning,
Right.
how old are
Depending
you?
on,
And when you first
how
saw
old
him.
are you?
Yeah. All right, so there's 3 matches that are booked.
All right,
the first
name
one
'em.
is Gunther versus Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Okay, I've been really thinking about this one. I don't think that Randy is going to be the 15-time world champ, whatever the hell he is.
No.
I think Gunther is going to keep it because I think they're going to somehow get Damian Priest back into the fold. But right now he has to deal with what the hell's his name?
Finn Balor.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. Big Balor.
New Judgment Day. Yeah, he has to
in the
deal
new
with
Judgment
that.
Day. Yes.
And I think that'll be longer than a month. So they're going to be busy with that for a while. Probably the rest of the year.
Right. And like I said, I love how Randy Orton has come out of his shell. You know, he's done with it. He's gotten clean. He's gotten back into the fold. And there's that whole, oh, well, my shoulders were never down, so you shouldn't have won, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, check out How Did We Miss That tomorrow at 10. I forgot what time it is. I'm sorry, Indy, but it's at 10, right? And Indy's also doing an interview tonight at 11 Eastern with the Dissidents, I believe it is. Again,
Dissidents? As in like
I
Russell Dobular and
Dissident.
Russell Keaton or Keaton? Keaton Wise?
It's a dissident. He's a founding member of INN. He's a writer.
Oh! I thought he said dissidents.
No, it's the dissident
My
or something
bad.
like that. It's a dissident or something like that. So that's at
By the
11
way, I
o'clock
did
tonight.
watch the Jimmy Dore show, and I know Kit Cabello and Daniel were both there, and I said, "Hey,
Yeah?
Kit, say it's Trey really loud." So we're know you're in the crowd.
So Gunther is going to retain this belt, and they're going to use Randy Orton to kind of put him over, as this big threat, which I like because. And they also Randy Orton talked about how you beat me at the King of the Ring when my shoulders were up, so justifying the world title match, which I like. They justify.
That's how I get the feeling like this is he's just going to put him over because I think they want to get back to. It could be Damian Priest, but then I hate to say this, but I think they're going to prop Sami Zayn up too. Like maybe Sami Zayn in a couple of months may be hurled
and
towards
the way they
that.
justify it is, well, I beat you for Intercontinental WrestleMania, so you need to give me a match for the world title now.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking because again, the whole Braun Breaker thing is kind of dwindling out. Now they've had a couple of matches.
Yeah, that's gonna be over now.
And I'll talk about that with the 2 out of 3 falls thing.
Yeah, that's going to be over now. No doubt, because Sammy's moving on to other things. So, the next match listed here is Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship. Which is...
Has Kevin Owens been ever champ?
He was the Universal Champion in 2017. Okay. He hasn't held the world title since then, but that was years ago.
Okay, what do you think?
Well, Cody is going to probably go over because he still has to do the Roman Reigns Rock thing next year. So
yes.
So they're not going to drop it right now.
But I think Owens might actually turn. Like this is a babyface versus babyface, which is kind of like the Curt Hennig Bret Hart thing in '93. Yeah, good storytelling here, but I think that Owens might turn.
Yeah, the story is that Kevin Owens thinks he doesn't deserve a world title match because he hasn't won many matches and he wants to earn it. Cody's like, no, you've earned it. You've had my back for months. I want to give you this world title match. And Kevin Owens is refusing it. Then Nick Aldis rules that, yes, we're going to do this match in Berlin. Kevin Owens isn't happy. He doesn't think he deserves it. So that's the whole story. And it's feeling like a Kevin Owens heel turn's coming. Because, he's a better heel than a babyface, I think. He's a great heel, I think, for Kevin Owens. So, If he turns, I'd be definitely fine with that. And they can continue having matches until Roman Reigns is ready for his rematch with Cody eventually later, either at the Royal Rumble next year or at WrestleMania.
Right.
So it keeps Cody busy because Roman Reigns is still busy with the Bloodline and the Bloodline Civil War. So
What happened with SmackDown to come?
yeah,
We'll
we'll get to
comment on
that.
that as well.
All right,
Next match.
the third and final match that is listed here is the Terror Twins, Damian Priest
Right.
and Rhea Ripley versus the Judgment Day, Dirty Dominic and Liv Morgan in a mixed tag match. So that's the last match that's listed here as of now.
See, I don't know. They need Dom to have a win, but yet Rhea Ripley needs revenge. They need revenge.
Yeah,
So
I
I don't
think
know who to pick. Who do you
I
pick?
would put off any revenge until later in the year. I think they need more heat on the Judgment Day.
Okay.
So Dirty Dom is probably going to pin Damian Priest due to interference from the other Judgment Day members, Finn Balor and Carlito
probably, yeah.
and JD, McDonough, whatever. Or I like to call him Mick Funko. I think Jim Cornette calls him that. But JD McDonough, they'll all interfere and they'll pin Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley will kind of get her hands on Liv Morgan, but not really. Same thing with Dominic because she wants to get her hands on Dominic. It's too soon. They got to build up the heat more. They got to build it up a little more. So I think that the heels will win this match, but
I'm gonna go with that.
and there are also a few more matches that they're teasing: CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in a strap match.
Round 2.
Yes, but it's going to be a strap match this time.
Oh man, did you see Drew McIntyre's back?
Yes,
Oh my
they're
goodness gracious! I was
they're
like,
kind of teasing. They're
ow.
teasing a strap match, obviously, because they're
Yeah.
strap. They beat each other with the belt. It hasn't been officially announced yet, but I'm sure it will be.
Oh please,
And
round 2, please.
yeah,
And no Seth
that
Rollins this
definitely.
time. No Seth Rollins.
Yeah, Seth Rollins was injured by Bronson Reed anyway
yeah.
on Raw.
I'm
But
like,
yeah,
he
we'll get
has
to that
such
in a
a
second.
gay outfit.
Yeah.
It's like, Rollins, how far did you chase a gay guy for that? Come
So,
on. As Jim
now,
Cornette said, he raided his wife's closet.
yeah, Roman Reigns has made a similar joke to him. So like he's like he looks like his wife. He's trying to something about it. Yeah, something like that. Huh. My throat's really dry. But
I do think that the Rhea Ripley and the Liv Morgan, I think it is going to be a good match. I definitely will be watching.
yeah,
And Jim Cornette agreed with both of us that it's okay to pop your shoulder back in at SummerSlam the first time. The second time was kind of stupid and
and she did it a
redundant.
third time, I think.
And she
Remember
did it a
correctly.
third time, right into the
Yeah, I'm like,
turnbuckle.
the one time was cool, and I was like, whoa, okay. I mean, the second time is like, oh, really? The third time, your shoulder doesn't pop out 3 times in like 10 minutes. Just doesn't. Shoulders may pop out, especially if it popped out once before, but it just doesn't happen that often. I'm assuming they're gonna do Roman Reigns versus Solo, too,
Oh, that's gonna be
or
good.
they might end up doing like a Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu, or not sure if they're saving that for later in the year.
Or maybe like like a gauntlet match. I mean, they could do that because it's the whole bloodline that literally had him like this on the mat,
Oh yeah, Roman sold his ass off for the first time in years. I've seen him sell like that. Like,
Yeah, it
whoa,
was good. I
yeah,
thought
it
at
was
first
really
he was going
good.
to come out on top again, but
Yeah,
you can only get away with that so many times.
yeah. I mean, they did it once at SummerSlam, and and Jacob Fatu's injury was more storyline just to get him out of the way, so he didn't have to sell for Roman because they got big plans for Jacob Fatu. I mean, he's going to be a huge star, and they don't want
But
him
they
selling
do
for
have him
Roman.
in a boot. Did you see the boot?
Yeah,
The
they're
walking
selling
boot?
the ankle injury still, but
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't actually injured. It was just for the story.
Well, actually, I'm kind of glad, though. I'm kind
Yeah,
of
me
glad
too,
that he didn't
because
get
I like
caught
him. He's going to
or
be a
get hurt.
star, and I'm excited to see more of him. But let's see. Yeah,
No
that
Braun
match.
Breaker yet? No matches with Braun Breaker?
I don't know whether he's going to be on the card. I hope so. I
What
hope
a
he has
crime.
because I don't see any. I don't see anything for him. What are you going to do? Have another match with Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental? I
Well,
mean, they already did
no,
that twice. Yeah,
you would have to raise someone else and bring
yeah.
someone else into the mix, but, well, I'll keep my fingers crossed that Braun Breaker, we will see his smiling face on Bash at the Berlin. I almost said Bash at the Beach. Damn it.
Yeah, it's gonna sit similar.
That's how old I am. I remember Bash at the Beach,
Yeah, me
y'all.
too. So yeah, so that's so that's Bash at the Berlin for now. I mean, we'll do a real preview next week because the pay-per-view would be
I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
be next
I'm
Saturday.
actually gonna watch the pay-per-view. I know.
Next
What the hell
Saturday
happened to me? I don't know.
next Saturday we would have to fully preview both shows.
Yeah.
But and this is kind
When
of
is
a
All In? Is that the same
it's-
weekend as
yeah, no,
SummerSlam?
All In is on the 25th, which would be the day
Okay, the
after we
25th.
do Pro Wrestling Talk. The
Okay.
day after we do that. So then the 31st is going to be Bash in Berlin.
Yes,
So,
and your birthday, and I'll be like messaging you, "Happy birthday!" And you'll be like,
so
"Shut up."
that's Bash in Berlin for now.
For now.
Or one more thing, wouldn't be surprised if to see a situation where it's Roman Reigns versus Solo and Jacob in a handicap match.
Another good one, another good scenario.
Yeah,
who do you
because
pick? Who would you think would win there? Who would you pick?
because
Roman?
Roman doesn't have any backup because he alienated everybody when he headed up the bloodline. So he's
Okay.
by himself, and Jacob and Solo is 2-on-1, and you would have to put over Solo and Jacob because to build that heat up and to eventually have Jey Uso and Jimmy come back and to help Roman. And then you would set up for the Bloodline Civil War, probably a Survivor Series War Games.
Ooh.
And then I don't know how you would play. I don't know whether The Rock would be back by then or what. But
do you think he would be on Roman's side, or he would be on Solo?
If he's still the final boss, he'll probably be a heel and be on the Solo side.
Interesting.
Because he could very easily say, "Well, Roman, you lost the belt, and and you're a loser now, so I'm going to side with the with my real family, which is the Solo guys, stuff like that." So you have a babyface Judgment Day, babyface Bloodline. There's too many factions in WWE.
I know. And then there's like New Day and the American something or other. I'm like, what the hell?
American Made, which is Chad Gable and the
the
other guys. I forget their name right now.
What the fuck? It's like Kai,
Yeah, I forget their names right now. And then the Alpha Academy is still around with the other three guys, or other two guys and a girl. It's like, and then the Wyatt Six and other. It's just way too many factions. I mean, that's
way
like
too many factions. And then that girl turned on the other one. I just saw it on Raw. I was like, oh yay, she turned on her.
Yeah, I don't care enough about Maxine to even be like, oh, her friend turned on her. It's like, who cares? But let's get to Bad Cookie.
Hello,
says
Bad
it's been
Cookies.
a while. Angel and
Are you working? Is that why it's been a while?
Mrs. Jericho Perfect.
I hate Chris Jericho.
But let's get to Raw.
Don't make me smack you, Bad Cookies.
There's were 2 episodes of Raw since we last talked, which was
I actually saw the second one because I'm like, Dad, tape it.
The first one.
The thing is, when Raw is on, I'm doing my other show, so I'm doing Black Magic Talk. So I'm like, Dad, just record it.
My mother records most of the wrestling and just watch it over the weekend because we're all busy during the week too. So I check out the clips, which is why I know what's going on for the most part. But they made a star out of Big Bronson Reed in one night. One night.
Because they could have done that the whole freaking time.
Yeah, because he was middling for months. He was just doing nothing. He was beating guys and losing and he was doing pretty much nothing. He was just middling. He was just there.
And now he's like this big beast, kind of like what they did with Yokozuna.
Yeah.
They literally made Yokozuna a star, and now Bronson Reed is like this beast that can't be beat. But he's beating everybody else. He injured Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he injured. I think it was 2 weeks ago. But
it will be 3 weeks on Monday.
Yeah. So Yeah, he in one night, Seth Rollins is out there. I think he was ready to fight CM Punk and McIntyre until CM
Yep.
Punk ran off to chase McIntyre and Seth in the ring, and then all of a sudden, here comes Bronson Reed, and he gives him his finish, that top rope splash, 6 times, and
Yeah.
they had him spitting up blood. It was really well done, I thought, and they turned him into a star like that. It's like, whoa,
Just like that.
and he's over. Because
Yep.
the next week, this past Monday, he did the same thing to
The
R-Truth.
Miz.
It was the Miz, and then as soon as he started climbing the ropes, the fans organically like it was organic. It was like I didn't think it wasn't. It wasn't like oh no, you know. It was like one of those organic like reactions, like oh.
But I had to tell my dad, I'm like, you do know that he's landing on his knees, right? He's not putting his full weight on top of that.
Yeah,
other
he's landing on his
wrestler.
knees and arms.
But they sell it like he is.
Mhm,
So, and
mhm.
that's the point. They want to sell it to make sure that it sinks in that that's happened.
Mhm,
I do like if we could just go back to the beginning of Raw really quick.
mhm.
I like how Rhea Ripley came out. I love her makeup. That's the one thing I love
yeah,
about her, but I
she's
don't like the fake eyelashes. Too fake for me. You will never see me wearing fake eyelashes because they literally would make my face look fake. I mean, they look fake. But I love her makeup. But she comes out and she's like, "Well, Dom, yeah, you got me, you cut me, but you didn't cut me that deep." So basically
yeah,
insinuating that Dom has a very small dick.
yeah, right.
Which was one of my favorites. But and then they're up in the crowd, and I'm like, Liv Morgan, you suck. Her promos suck.
Yeah, she isn't. She's just there. You know, she's the reason why she's part of this angle because of Dominic and
Dominic.
her trying to take
Dominic
away
can
Dominic.
talk. Yeah,
Yeah,
Dominic can talk, but
Liv
they
is
wouldn't let
just
him talk. That's the heat he has.
yeah.
He has so much heat. The crowd
Mm-hmm.
will not let him speak.
No, and it's not piped in boos. It's legitimate because you
Mm-mm.
could tell the piped in boos sound different. You know, than natural like boo hit whatever. You know, it's like more natural. So then at the end of that segment, like Damian Priest is like from behind him, like, and they're both kind of like, oh, what?
It was
Like,
like the
and they,
Undertaker AJ
yeah,
Styles thing.
yeah,
They
exactly
compared
what
it
it
to
was.
that.
And and Dominic slowly turns around and he just pops him, and that begins the feud,
Oh no!
the brawl, and
And the
eventually
look
they,
on Dominic's face was priceless. Great selling here.
yeah, great,
Mwah.
yeah, he's good. What's funny is when Dominic first started, he was just he was Ray's son. You know, you just follow him around like a puppy dog, and they won the tag team titles once. It was great, but Vince was ready to fire him or send him to NXT, and so he turned him heel. Until like he convinced him to let him turn heel, and look what he turned into.
Yeah.
Because he was not, he was just middling. He was just there. He was like
Mhm.
Ray's son, you know. So it wasn't like he was over as a babyface. And then he turns heel. He's the biggest heel in the company. Who cheers?
Right.
Nobody cheers Dominic. Nobody.
And they
It's
even prevent him from speaking. That's how
Yeah,
much
it's
heat
like
he has. Oh man.
it's like it's like he can't even talk. He does this like boo, you know. It's like then they're like then he's in Spanish. He tells him to shut up, like cállate,
Yeah,
cállate la boca."
Kayate.
Yeah.
And Liv is like, let him speak. But then Rhea Ripley's like, no, guys, let him speak because I want to hear the excuses he has
Mhm.
or what he has to
It's
say.
brilliant. And then Damien had a match with JD McDonough, I believe, and they all interfered and they all beat him up. And then we had Rhea came out and they both beat up JD and laid him out,
Mhm.
and that ended the segment.
And of course, Finn Balor, is the little bitch heel who has to run away, and
Yeah,
never get hurt, never get touched.
yeah, because that angle has to continue until
Mhm.
Finn gets his hands on Damian Priest, or
Right.
reverse. Damian Priest gets his hands on Finn. But yeah, that was that Raw. Oh yeah, the 2 out of 3 match for the Intercontinental. That was fantastic.
Oh my god, I loved it, Angel. I loved it. I loved it. Now, the thing is, and I was telling this to my guy who also watches wrestling.
Yeah,
I was like, in Portland they overdid the 2 out of 3 falls. They did it every single time.
yeah.
I know because I watched Curt Hennig in Portland, And they did it every single time he was in a 2 out of 3 falls. They excuse me. They overdid it.
Mm-hmm.
But now WWE rarely did a 2 out of 3. I can remember like a handful of times that they did
Yeah, and they don't.
2 out of 3 falls.
They don't do the 2 out of 3 falls deal. Rarely,
Right.
like they bring it out. They brought it out for this match, and it was they had a great
I love
match.
it.
These two,
I loved it.
and Sammy won the first fall by
Mhm.
hitting his finish. I was like, okay,
I told my dad, I said, "You watch now, Braun Breaker will win the second fall." And he did.
second and third.
Second
he
and
won the next
third.
2 falls convincingly, and that's
But
how he
now,
retained.
what they did in Portland was sometimes the babyface would win, but then most of the time, someone would come out and interfere. So,
Yeah.
or sometimes the babyface would lose. So, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, they overdid it, but there was different endings to different 2 out of 3 falls.
I was hoping that Braun Breaker would win both falls and just dominate, but I knew that wouldn't happen because Sammy is a great politician. He's not gonna want to put him over twice.
Sammy gonna be
without
Sammy.
getting a fall or something. So I knew that he would probably win a fall, but I was wishing, that he would dominate, but whatever.
Right. That's what I told my dad. I was like, you watch now. Braun's gonna win the second one, and then it's a toss up who's gonna win the third one, because I knew Braun would either win or they would be a disqualification or something. I didn't think Sammy was gonna get the belt back.
No.
No.
I mean, he's moving on probably to the world title picture. Again,
That's
I didn't think of that until you said it.
Okay, now we're done. We're done with that. Now we're gonna elevate Sami Zayn, even though I still don't think Sammy should be elevated.
Well, him and Gunther had a good match at WrestleMania. I just didn't like the finish.
And that could take over after the Randy Orton stuff.
Yeah, because that Randy Orton match is probably going to be one and done. Because Randy's technically on SmackDown, so that's the whole deal. He's not really on Raw. They're just doing this match in order to settle who actually is better. Because Randy had his shoulders up when they counted him for the King of the Ring, so so they have to tie up that loose end. So
yeah, and I don't think they're going to make Sami Zayn the champion because, again, Gunther is such a great heel. He's doing great heel promos. I like what he was saying about, Randy Orton and the fact that, you have messed up all your life. I can't do the accent. I'm sorry. But you have messed up all your life. He's like, yeah, I have made mistakes. But I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you to sleep there.
I mean,
excuse me. But he was like, saying good storylines, and Randy, you messed up. He's like, yeah, I messed up, but now I'm clean. I've made a better life. I have a hot wife and a beautiful daughter to go home to, or a bunch of kids to go home to.
Yeah,
I didn't know he had 5 kids.
Yeah, Randy was like, I have a hot wife to go home to, and I have 5 kids, so I'm doing well for myself,
Yeah, since his mistakes, and let's be honest. I mean, every wrestler has their stint with drugs. I mean, it happens. It's pro wrestling, guys. Randy Orton was no exception. But my dad was like, what? He was never in the military. I said, oh, yeah, he was a Marine.
Yeah.
Randy Orton was a Marine, and he was honorably discharged.
Yeah, he was a Marine, and he ended up doing time in military prison because he deserted. But
yeah. But, I mean, he still got honorably discharged from the Marines, and then when he was done with the Marines, he went to wrestling. And after and Gunther mentioned that his father and his grandfather were wrestlers.
Yeah, they
were
Bob
Orton Sr. and Jr. And they were both screw. Well, I don't know. And this is what I told my dad. I was like, I don't know, because I never saw Bob Orton Sr. and I barely saw Bob Orton. I was like still too young for Bob Orton Jr.
If you guys, Bob Orton Jr. was the one with the cast, and he wore it for years, part of his gimmick.
Yeah,
and he would eat guys.
And he was in and out of the
the
territories. That's why I'm saying I don't really remember him very much, because he wasn't in WWE or WWF. We know it is WWF.
Yeah, he had a run. Yeah, he was there in '84. He was a part of the first.
We weren't born yet.
No, I know, but I'm just saying he was in WWF in like the mid '80s.
Right.
He had that run. He was in the main. He wasn't in the main event, but he was managing. It was Piper and Orndorff versus Hogan.
Orndorff, right.
He was outside and he tried to hit Hogan, I think, with the cast.
With the cast, yeah.
And they hit the leg drop and Hogan won. Of course. I mean, he's not going to lose, but But yeah, I mean, but yeah, that's why Gunther said they're all screw ups, the Ortons, and that got under Randy's skin, blah blah blah. So and that led to Drew McIntyre coming out, and finally Gunther turned around to look at McIntyre, and Randy got him with the RKO, and then that led to CM Punk and McIntyre doing their deal with the belt after that.
But I think that shows a fundamental thing that once they're done with Randy and maybe done with Sammy, maybe they're not going to do Sammy. Maybe they're going to bring in Drew. And then Drew's finally going to have his time with the belt again. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. But it sounds like now that Drew McIntyre's come out,
Yeah.
that he wants in the main event too. Of course he wants in the main event,
Yeah,
but he still has to deal with Punk.
He has to deal. His thing with Punk isn't over.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that either they're going to elevate Sammy and have
Yeah.
Sammy in there for a while, and then maybe Drew. Maybe it's Drew's turn.
Yeah, it'll be over when Punk
Or
grabs
maybe
his.
CM Punk too.
When Punk grabs his bracelet, that's when it's going to be over, and that's when
Yep.
you know it's going to be over. That angle.
Yep. When
And
he gets
they're
that
moving on
bracelet
to
back.
the stuff. Yep. So, yeah, it could be Punk. I mean, Punk and Gunther, or Sammy and Gunther, Drew and Gunther. So there's plenty of guys on Raw that Gunther can work with for this world title.
Yep.
Problem
This is getting good.
It's the exact opposite on SmackDown. Cody doesn't have many guys to work with right now, so that's why it's kind of
he just has Solo. But then you want to see the Roman Reigns versus Solo, and
he's kind of middling.
That Civil War you were talking about.
Yeah, he's kind of middling as champion because The Rock isn't there and Roman Reigns is not. Is still busy with the Bloodline, so he's kind of like he's just there, and he's working with Kevin Owens at the pay-per-view, which is going to be a good match, but there isn't much heat there because they're both friends and they're both baby faces. So,
could we take maybe either Drew or heck, even maybe Randy could go back to SmackDown, and then hey, Randy Orton versus Cody. Could we have maybe that match?
Yeah, I mean that would be a good match, but I would love to see kind of like Randy turn on Cody and have the teacher-student thing.
Right. So there we go. So now we have.
But I don't know. I don't know whether the audience want to boo Randy Orton, even if he turns on Cody. So
true. I mean, you never know what the Viper is going to do.
Yeah, so they still would want to cheer him, even though he turned on Cody, who's a babyface champion and the top guy in the company. So
now they have to move some people up for Braun Breaker as well, because I mean, eventually Braun is going to get so good that they're going to elevate him for Gunther too. Yeah. See, that's why I think that maybe a couple of months to 6 months to a year, maybe in 2025 they may have They're going to have John Cena come back too.
Yeah, John Cena.
I don't know if they're going to put a belt on him, but there definitely could be, like maybe it could be Bronson Reed. It could be Braun Breaker versus John Cena. I've heard rumors that Stone Cold's thinking about doing another WrestleMania run.
Yes, Austin lives in Reno, Nevada, and WrestleMania is in Vegas. So he's like, I'll definitely make that drive. It's like 250 miles. So if Cody needs another guy to help him against the Bloodline, I'm here. I mean, I'll definitely go down. He's teasing
an appearance, but then Austin was also saying, I would really love to have one more match, and I was just like, you know what, I would love to see that, but Austin, you got to think your safety.
He had a match with Kevin Owens in WrestleMania 38, I think.
Right, and Owens asked him if he could use the Stone Cold Stunner, right?
Yeah, that's when he's like, "Oh yeah, kid, of course." I mean, I can't do his accent, but he's like, "Yeah, kid." He calls everybody kid, but because he's like in his 50s. But
the only thing is, Roman Reigns, if you ever try to do a perfect plex again, I'm coming after you. That is only meant for either Joe or Curt.
I missed that. Did he do a perfect plex?
Yeah, you guys were telling me, Roman Reigns just did a perfect plex. Not very well, but he did it.
Oh, I don't.
And then, what's his name? Cody kicked out.
Oh, yeah, that was WrestleMania. I forgot. Yeah.
I was like, no. Nobody does the perfect plex except for Mr. Perfect, and he's no longer with us. But, I mean, the only other person I would want to see do the perfect plex is Joe. And he's no longer with the company either. He's at least still with us, but I mean, and that's why I was kind of hoping and praying now that Triple H took over that Joe would come back. Please, Joe. One more time, Joe. Come on,
Is he still?
come on.
Is he still working? I mean, is still wrestling? I mean, I haven't seen him
He's
really
not
much.
still wrestling. I don't think he's still wrestling. They don't say what he did. In an article I read, it didn't say what he does for a living. Just that he likes to play fantasy football and hang out with his wife and his boys, which is great. I know,
Yeah.
but please, Joe, come back one more time, please. Pretty please, I'll get on my knees, please, Joe.
I don't know if Triple H would made the phone call, or that's something that would be an interest of WWE to bring him back, but or whether he's
Joe?
interested in wrestling at this point. I don't know.
I
I
know,
haven't
but
seen him much. And
if Joe would ever see this, Joe Hennig, please, one more time, I'm begging you, come back one more time, one more
because I think
run.
Triple H would use him.
I think Triple H would use him better than Vince.
Yeah, my battery's good, but yeah, I mean that could happen. I mean, Triple H would use him better.
Yes. Can you still hear us?
I can hear you, but it's
Okay.
the speakers. I should probably go get my other my earplugs, because it'll probably echo my mic here. I'm not sure you're hearing an echo or not, but
No, I'm not hearing an echo at all.
okay. Well, I guess
Um,
I can deal with it then until we wrap
but
up.
I'm
But
right, and we're just about to get off anyway because I
yeah,
have to go potty.
yeah.
But if there is anybody listening out there, please, Joe Hennig, please, one more run. Let's do this, because Triple H will use you so much better than Vince would, and I could see him.
Mm-hmm.
How about Joe Hennig versus Braun Breaker? Hello,
Oh, if
because
he's
Rick
still,
Steiner actually had a match with Curt in AWA.
yeah, if he's still in shape, in wrestling shape, I definitely want to see that.
Oh, I would love to see that. Come on, Joe, let's go. Call somebody. Let's
For
get this
the
happening. Let's get this
Intercontinental,
going.
yeah. I mean, if he's in
Hmm.
wrestling shape and he wants to wrestle still, yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. I could see it. And then maybe like Cody versus Joe Hennig. Another good second
Yeah,
generation there matches. Or sorry, Joe's third generation
yeah,
and Cody's second.
yeah. I sure Cody would like to work with him, but putting him over, I don't know about that. But Cody, I'm sure Cody would love to work with Mr. Perfect's kid, Kurt's kid.
Definitely. I would love to see Joe. I would love to see
Yeah.
him back and wrestling in a wrestling ring. So if Joe ever does see this, which I highly doubt, but I would love it if he did, please, Joe, think about it. Think about it.
But then on SmackDown, we got the Roman Reigns getting beat down by the Bloodline. Like
That
that
was a bit of a
was,
shocker because
yeah, that was a
Roman
shocker.
Reigns is so over, but yet he's like one of those wrestlers that we would think is invincible and like
Yeah,
can't get hurt.
yeah, and then
Kind of like they did with Zeus back in 88 or
yeah,
89.
yeah, he was the Superman babyface. That was Roman
Yeah.
Reigns, and then he
Yeah.
gets, but he got beat down by three guys, so it wasn't like
Right.
he
And he's
sold for.
standing, in that fetal position, and you're like, wow, that was disheartening.
He sold his ass off, and
He did exactly what he was supposed to do. It's
yeah,
just I think the fans were kind of shocked. They're kind of like, oh
yeah,
my
it
gosh,
was
Roman
shocking.
Reigns can lose. He can be beaten down,
Yeah, it was shocking because especially for for the casual audience who's seen Roman Reigns since 2020,
Mm-hmm.
not get beat. Nobody touched him. He was Thanos. If you know your Avengers, he was Thanos. Nobody
Yeah.
touched him. Nobody got to him. Nobody beat him. And now Cody beat him at WrestleMania. And now he gets beat down by the
And now he
Bloodline.
gets beat down by the
Yeah.
bloodline.
So
Blah,
he's
blah.
vulnerable. He showed some vulnerability now.
Yeah, so I think that was a bit of a shocker for me when I saw that. I was
Yeah,
kind
that
of like,
was like,
shit,
whoa.
I didn't expect that.
I'm surprised they had Roman sell that much, and he just came back. So, but they really want to put over Jacob Fatu as his monster. His nickname is the Werewolf, and they really want to like take care of pushing him. And I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be surprised if eventually he would want to take Solo's place and be like the tribal chief or whatever, and have matches with
Oh,
Roman.
so
And
like stab Uso in the
yeah,
back.
yeah, it's Stab Solo. Because right
Or
now,
Solo, not
Jacob
Uso.
has more aura than Solo. Even though I like Solo's work, he's getting a lot better. He's getting into the role more. He's growing into it. But Jacob has that aura that you can't teach.
You
Either
can't
you
hold
have
him
it or you
down,
don't.
just like his dad or his stepdad or uncle or something. Haku is what I was
Haku is
thinking.
his stepdad. Yeah.
Yeah, Haku.
Mhm. But Haku was a legitimate badass. He could kill
Oh
you
my
just by
god.
doing that.
But
And
he was still a super nice guy too.
Haku.
Someone was who was I was listening to an interview and they said they accidentally poked Haku in the eye. I mean, they went in like deep, and he was known as Mang then because he was WCW. I don't remember who it was. It might have been Scott Norton. But he Mang or Haku apologized to him, even though he went in too deep, and he's like, "Oh shoot, I'm so sorry," and Haku's like, "I'm so sorry." Oh my god.
It's Scott Norton. I'm sure like, oh no,
I'd
don't
be
worry
like,
about it, man.
I'm gonna go now before you beat my ass.
Yeah, it's like,
It was an
because
accident, you know.
Haku like, there's stories of him like I told this story before with Brutus Beefcake. He's like he had a match with Brutus Beefcake in WWF, and Brutus complained to the office, and the office was like, "Oh well, I mean, you were too rough with Brutus." So like, "Oh yeah," he went right into the locker room and grabbed him like this, apparently,
Grabbed him like this, yeah, that
like
Tongan
pulled him up,
death grip or something.
and the rest of the locker room like, "Oh shit!" And they didn't want to. They ain't going to stop nothing. It's Haku. They were all scared of him. So
Yeah, he's
eventually, they
legitimate badass.
waddled
That's even
over.
what Bret Hart said. Bret Hart's like, yeah, I don't fuck with Haku.
They were all scared of him. So somebody got Hogan. It was like, hey, Haku's gonna kill your boy Brutus. So he walked in like, hey, please put him down, Haku, respectfully. Even Hogan was scared of him. He's like, come on, put him down. It's like, okay, because he respected Hogan because he was a top guy. He's like, okay, I'll put him down. But
Oh wow.
so yeah, my laptop battery's almost dead, and I think we've talked about everything, right? I mean,
Pretty
there's something we're
much.
forgetting. Yeah.
Mm-mm. Not that I remember. I was just excited because I'm like, I'm gonna watch Raw
Yeah.
with my
So
dad.
next week, hopefully, we'll get back to hour 2 on Rumble. And I have to put some clips together, but I was running really late, and my microphone arm broke, and I used it once, and it's done. Then I couldn't get my internet working; it was down, and then it took 15 minutes to start the show, and we got a lot to talk about, so we couldn't get to clips. But hopefully, we can get to it next week for sure. In hour 2, we'll go to Rumble and whatever, and we'll go from there.
Like I said, tomorrow, guys, Kit Cabello is going to be on my show. We're going to watch some promos from Curt
Mm-hmm.
from Portland and AWA. And then we are going to watch the RVD match with Curt Hennig and then the Tommy Dreamer match with Curt Hennig. And it's going to be episode 50 of Curt Hennig Was the Best. Changed my mind. So it's a special episode 50 since I hit 50.
Yeah.
And then next week, Mr. Angel Rivera over there is going to be on my show. We're going to watch some more clips, probably of AWA. I think I've used all the ones in Portland, but AWA, and then we're going to do some of the early WWE stuff that he came out with
Yeah.
earlier in WWF. And then we're gonna watch the Ray Trailer Big Boss Man
Sounds like
show.
fun. So it's the
I have
25th.
the Peacock, so we're gonna watch it on Peacock. I'm very excited about that, and I'll cut all the stuff out that I need to for YouTube. But
Yeah.
on
We'll have to
on
do,
Rumble, it's anything
yeah.
goes. So
You have to
fuck them.
probably do the audio or something on YouTube, but we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
we'll do the audio, but then I have to cut out all the music. So
Yeah, you have to cut out the music. Yeah.
on Black Magic Talk, we have another guest, Toby something or other. That will be Monday night. So look for that on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then we'll be right back here next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Pro Wrestling Talk, guys. And I will be on Angel's show on the 30th.
Yeah. That's it's gonna be me and Alex. I think Alex confirmed. Yeah, I talked to him last night, so hopefully I can get Karen to come back on. I mean, she did lose her dog recently, so she's
Oh,
depressed about
yeah.
that. I was supposed to have her on that week, but her dog died. It had an emergency, went and her dog died, so she went to the vet, and she couldn't make it. But The dog didn't make it, and I understood. Like, look, I mean, don't worry about it.
Oh,
So
jeez.
hopefully I get her on the 30th. So it'll be Alex, you, me, Karen. Maybe I can get D to come on. It's been a while since he's been on any of my shows. So
Yes, I want to see my big brother again.
yeah. So if I tell him it's my birthday, I'll probably get on. I don't. He's been kind of MIA lately, so
How about Greg? Have we heard? I mean, I've seen some of his stuff about
Yeah,
DoorDash. He's
yeah.
having some success with that.
He's been doing political commentary mostly and
And it's
DoorDash.
because, I mean, he has every right to be upset.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Elon Musk talks about free speech, but yet he got thrown off of X for no freaking reason. And it's
Yeah,
just
he lost
absolutely
his wrestling account,
abhorrent.
and he just hasn't watched wrestling since, and he's kind of been
Because
down
he
about
says
it.
he gets so depressed. And I was just
Yeah,
like, you know what? I understand.
yeah.
But you know, Elon Musk is Elon Musk, and putting your, uh faith in Elon Musk was just, it's not a good thing,
Mm,
because again, he's not for freedom of speech. Literally, and I said this. I said
yeah.
this yesterday in chat, that literally Elon Musk interviewing Trump was basically two billionaires blowing each other.
Hmm.
And that's exactly what it was.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was horrible, and it was boring too. I mean, I covered it last night and yesterday, and I said, "God, this is more boring than I thought it would be." That's why if I knew this, I probably wouldn't have covered it. But and then Trump is talking like this for some reason. Like either he had some
Like a
drinks,
gay Trump.
either he had some drinks or his dentures were falling out. I don't know what it
Yeah,
was.
someone said that's how loosely fitted dentures are.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, whatever.
Somebody in the chat was saying like, okay, well, I mean, good to know. But either he was
Yeah, she had the
drunk.
same name as me. It was Stephanie, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just Steph. So
Uh huh. Yeah, so make sure Angel in the Afternoon is going to be Fridays at 7, as everybody knows. We'll be back here on Sunday or Saturday. Then on the third, then I'm going on her on the 25th. I'll be probably up Monday. I'm assuming you'll edit that, and it'll be up Monday on your channel. So, right?
is it the 25th? I think so. Yes,
It's 25th. You
because
said so. It'll be up by Monday. Probably you have to edit it and
it'll,
stuff.
well, no, it'll be, so it's 51, episode 51. So it'll probably be like a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah,
You're
so it'd be
okay.
like the middle of September.
Oh, okay, okay. So look for that in the middle of September. Her links in the description, stuff like that. So what else? Yeah, the 30th is Angel in the Afternoon. It's going to be my birthday episode. We're gonna have a bunch of
Are
people on.
we going to, on the 31st? Are we still going to have pro wrestling talk, or are we going to move that to Sunday?
I'm intending on doing it on the 31st, but
Okay.
again, plans could pop up at the last second. So
I'm
when we get
thinking,
close,
why do I keep thinking there's a, no, when is a Bash in Berlin?
the 31st in the afternoon at 1 o'clock. It
Okay.
starts.
Okay.
So that's
Okay,
why
at
I'm
1 o'clock.
intending to do the
Okay.
review that night.
That's why I was like, wait, wasn't there, I could have sworn there was a pay-per-view.
Yeah,
I thought maybe we'd have to move it to Sunday.
no, because that would be at 8 o'clock. It'd be Sunday
Okay.
night, then we can't do the show, obviously. But
And I will be watching.
that'd be
I will be
Sunday
watching.
afternoon, unless there's no plans have popped up as of now. So I'm intending to do the review on Saturday night for
All right.
whatever number episode that would be, and hopefully I can get D to come on and other people because I mean we haven't had a guest in a while. I don't remember the last time we had a guest. So
Snow. We had snow.
oh yeah, that was.
Maybe I could get my friend Matt Collins back on.
Oh yeah, I mean if that'd be cool, if he's able to come back on because we had him on early. I forgot about him too. I mean we had him on the early when we first started the show. So yeah, definitely if you can get him on, that'd be great. Either next week or for the birthday episode, that'd be fun. But yeah, if that's it for my batteries. It's almost dead. It's like red. So
Okay. Well,
so
guys,
we gotta
next
wrap up.
week. Yep, next week 8 p.m. back here for pro wrestling talk. Until then,
Bye
bye,
bye.
y'all.
We'll be on at 8 o'clock sharp because what happened this week is gonna happen again. So or hope not. All right. Well, I'll see you guys next Friday for Angel in the Afternoon.